When people go broke, sometimes they sell stuff that they end up regretting later. Same thing happens to characters. Back when Marvel wasn't making bank, they sold the film rights to some of their beloved creations. As they began to dominate the box office with the creation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they worked hard to reacquire their wayward heroes and villains. They've had a few victories, getting Spider-Man back in-house, but there are still many fan favorites that they're unable to use.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Are you kidding me? You still haven't subscribed to CBR's YouTube channel?
You know what to do.
How many awesome videos have you missed because you forgot one click? Starting today, that number can be 0. Subscribe now!
I think the world needs the X-Men.
X-Men. Despite being one of the most popular comic book franchises in history, it'll be a cold day, colder than Iceman in a snowstorm, before we see any of the X-Men hang out with or battle alongside a member of the Avengers.
It's gonna be a little tricky.
Their rights belong to 20th Century Fox as part of the long-time deal when they acquired all rights to any mutant in the Marvel Universe. It gets confusing and kinda silly, but for the sake of your short attention span, let's move on.
I know, stay with me.
While it can be difficult, the occasional loophole does exist, and Marvel found one when they brought Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch to the MCU. Members of both the X-Men and Avengers, this enhanced brother and sister were included in the recent Avengers films. However, they had their backstories altered, having them created by evil Hydra scientists instead of being Magneto's children, as Quicksilver is shown to be in the X-Men film franchise.
I'd like you to meet Aurora Monroe, also called Storm.
Storm, one mutant that will be sorely missed unless Marvel can find more loopholes, is the sometimes leader of the X-Men and longtime mate of one of the newest members of the MCU. Aurora Monroe, better known as Storm, will unlikely ever electrify in the MCU, despite once running with the Avengers in the comics. This fierce female has been featured in films already, mostly as Halle Berry, until recently being recast with Alexandra Shipp, bringing a younger version of the character to X-Men Apocalypse. While Berry used her role to teach basic science,
do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
We'll never be able to see Storm find the love of her comic book life with the Black Panther. Recently making his MCU debut, the King of Wakanda is gonna have to find a new soulmate.
All that you know is at an end.
Silver Surfer. As Marvel takes their cinematic universe into the galaxy and beyond with Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 1 and 2, they won't be able to use the raddest dude ever to drop into the cosmic swell, Silver Surfer.
Oh, that is cool.
Born on a world that made no attempt to improve itself, Norrin Radd was a bored scholar yearning for an adventure. Then, a two-eyed, horned helmet-wearing giant purple world eater showed up and recruited Radd to join Team Galactus, having him serve as his herald, an act which would save Radd's planet from being destroyed.
My service spares my world and the one I love.
From that moment forward, he became a finder of planets for his master Galactus to devour. He was imbued with cosmic power and given a surfboard because his last name was Radd. I'm just gonna let that sit there for a moment. Actually, it's because co-creator Jack Kirby was sick of drawing spaceships.
I am Galactus. My power is limitless.
Galactus. Along with his herald, Galactus falls under the Fantastic Four rights owned by 20th Century Fox, which is a darn shame because we've seen what the company thinks of the world-devouring cosmic entity. They turned him into giant... Okay, deep breath. Getting ahead of myself here. Galactus is a giant, literally, force in the Marvel Comics who first appeared in 1966, wearing purple and needing to consume entire planets to survive.
It must feed on energy to survive, both thermal and organic.
He has served as foe to not only the Fantastic Four, but has seen the Avengers thwart his attempt to consume Earth, saving lives and keeping the godlike Galactus on his diet. He's been filmed live action before, and he was turned... Okay, I'll just out and say it.
Come on!
They made him into a giant space cloud in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Why?
Why?
Come and see.
Apocalypse. Speaking of giant-sized baddies who can't seem to catch a break in live-action adaptations, Apocalypse deserved a much better rendition than fans received from X-Men Apocalypse. Oscar Isaac, lost underneath 40 pounds of prosthetics and makeup, did the best he could with the role. However, having a 5'9" actor, even in a high-heeled rubber suit, portray the first mutant ever just didn't seem to pass the eye test. Along with Thanos, he's one of the most feared forces in all of Marvel Comics, and one that may never even be seen on film again due to his poorly received reception in the film. Looking like a leftover from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he didn't exactly receive the welcome director Bryan Singer hoped for.
Where are your ears?
The Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, her brother the Human Torch, and the Thing make up the Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four. Cool.
Created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in the early 60s, this team of superheroes has yet to receive a worthy live-action adaptation.
You guys look like an 80s rock band.
As long as 20th Century Fox keeps putting out critically condemned movies, the MCU will never get to see Reed Richards geek out with Tony Stark, or Johnny Storm arguing with his frenemy, Peter Parker. Their on-screen debut is considered a fake movie, one Marvel paid to have not released. Their last attempt? Yeah. It bombed so bad, the director trashed the film after release, and a sequel was removed from production.
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
The Fantastic Four are one of the biggest and oldest Marvel properties, and one that seems can only be done right by joining the MCU. Rumors have been circulating of behind-the-scenes negotiations, but nothing has been confirmed.
I'm a princess. What are you?
I'm the Wolverine.
Wolverine. Not sure if you knew about this, but in the comic book world, Wolverine kinda died. The unkillable killing machine sacrificed himself for one final victory, being turned into an adamantium statue.
Great.
One of the popular conspiracy theories regarding his death is Marvel is sabotaging the character, along with the entire X-Men line, because they aren't making movie money off those characters. Further adding fuel is that currently, Logan is an old dude in the comics, which is convenient given that an old version of Wolverine is slicing up bad guys and box office competitors.
In the future, do I make it?
No.
While most would agree that the 17-year run of Hugh Jackman as Claude Canadian was solid, don't plan on seeing that familiar white tank top in the MCU anytime soon. As the world awaits a new, assuredly younger version of Wolverine to be cast, keep calm and know you'll probably never see him argue with Captain America, or have a last man standing match with the Hulk.
The question for you is, are you with me or against me?
Dr. Doom. One of the biggest baddies in Marvel's bad guy collection, Victor Von Doom will not be battling wits against Tony Stark, or discussing the finer points of patriotism with Captain America anytime soon.
Insults! Don't you know the UN is a place for diplomacy, Stark?
It's a shame because the ruler of the fictional country of Latveria would make a great foil for the current lineup of movie Avengers. Dr. Doom is mostly known as the arch-nemesis of the Fantastic Four, another property Marvel doesn't own.
Do you really think fate turned us into gods so we could refuse these gifts?
Victor, you always thought you were a god.
But much like the FF, fans of the genius inventor, sorcerer, and metal-faced dictator have yet to see a quality version portrayed in the movies. We've seen Doom portrayed as a buddy-turned-bad guy, not the omnipotent threat to the universe he's been portrayed as in the comics.
I am known as Kang the Conqueror. Welcome to your future.
Kang the Conqueror. After Thanos, Marvel is gonna have a big bad problem on their hands. As in, who can be a worse bad guy than the Mad Titan? One character that seems like a great fit is one of the Avengers' earliest foes, the time-traveling Kang the Conqueror. He first appeared in issue 8 of the Avengers, and the vast technologies he's acquired throughout time have nearly defeated Earth's mightiest heroes on many occasions.
Even a world with Avengers is no match for Kang the Conqueror.
Currently, the only thing Kang is conquering are the dust bunnies surrounding him, as he sits on Fox's proverbial shelf of Marvel characters they don't feel like playing with, like toy collectors that never take the figure out of the box. Which is a shame, as we'll never see his soft side. In addition to his numerous wars with the Avengers, he once had a relationship with Mantis, who will be making her film debut in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 this summer.
Yeah, it's me, Deadpool, and I got an offer that you can't refuse!
Deadpool. Just a few years ago, the decision makers at Marvel would have appreciated being able to make a Deadpool movie. The idea of making a movie about the merc with a mouth was nice, but not a necessity, or even a great idea, especially one starring that handsome fella that dimmed the emerald light of the Green Lantern.
And please don't make the super suit green. Or animated.
And already had a film fail with his version in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
Now, with the fourth wall breaking character being one of the most popular on the planet, you can bet your bleepin' backside that Marvel wants their rated R superstar at their disposal in the MCU.
I know, right?
The fast-talking assassin for hire has been known to feud with, well, every single person in the Marvel Universe. Everyone wants to see him try and take the Iron Man suit for a saucy spin, prove his worth or lack thereof with Thor, or spend some time eating chimichangas watching Luke Cage and Iron Fist on Netflix with Spider-Man.
I presume a crisp high five?
For you, 10. Okay guys, let's get out there and make a difference.
As Stan Lee might say, fear not, fellow believers. While your favorite heroes and villains might not be able to join the MCU today, with a little hope and a lot of money, there could be a day when they may. Which character that the MCU doesn't own would you love to see cross over? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to CBR before you leave.